And we are live. Hi guys, welcome back to Story Onboarding with Sophie, your girl. This is fun. This is a completely new look from last time. I don't know if any of you saw last night. I know my mom did, which I love you. And if you're watching this one, I love you. But we have a new setup. We've tweaked with a few things. Me and my family and friends at the Hive Collaborative, brought to you by the Hive Collaborative. You'll see that I have a little bit of tracking motion going on. A little slow, but it's working. Oh, it's so great. So today, we are going to be world building because I have committed to trying to write an entire novel on camera for everyone to see. So, I'm so excited. So today we're going to be doing, world building. We're going to be discussing what kind of world we exist in, discussing what's alike in our own world versus what's alike in this specific world, and then just doing so much more and seeing how our characters and our theme always goes back to it, because I always want to go back to my theme. Welcome to Story Onboarding. All right, let's see if I can do this. It's a fun intro, okay? Number one of its kind. Oh, yay, it worked. That was so fun. It's so fun doing this live stream. I'm completely new to this. I've seen so many live streams online, but I myself have never really tried to do one. Last week was my first time trying to do one, and I think it went pretty well, all things considered. We kind of just pulled it out of a hat. But this time we are also still pulling it out of a hat, but with way more cool rabbits inside. So that's something we worked out like 10 seconds before we went live. Awesome. Now, I'm going to get started with discussing the world building, and I want to talk about something known as urban fantasy. Now, you're probably all really, if you're a writer, you're probably familiar with urban fantasy. It's an incredibly popular genre setting of fantasy, is subgenre of the wide spectrum that is fantasy, and it's one of my favorites. I love urban fantasy because it's just like our world, but if it had a little spice, you know. So some great examples of this, and I'm gonna try and pull it up now, are some. So I have the what's it called? The definition of urban fantasy. Let me pull that up right now and watch this. Boom! Oh my gosh! Except for you can't quite see it. It's a little bit cut off, but that's okay. Oh, my IT guy is here. Hi, Davis. I shouldn't say IT guy. He's my IT brother. Is it working? Everything good?
It's good. We have a little lag issue that we're going to fix next week.
Okay. I'm okay with that. A little lag, it's fine. I trust that the universe is getting out there somewhere. You guys want to know what urban fantasy is?
Sure, tell us. So.
Urban fantasy is a subgenre of fantasy placing supernatural elements in a contemporary urban affected setting. The combination provides the writer with a platform for classic fantasy tropes, quixotic plot elements, and unusual characters without demanding the creation of an entire imaginary world, which is really helpful when you're trying to write an entire novel on camera.
Amazing.
Thanks, Dad. You are in fourth. But this universe I created was for me and my friends, was for something that I could play with, that I could imagine was happening in real life. I don't know if you've ever been in a car, like in the side seat, and you're just watching like a little imaginary stick figure alongside you. It was so fun. It was like that, but with these characters. So some examples of urban fantasy are, and you won't be able to see this so well because I don't have the spacing quite right, but Percy Jackson is a great example of urban fantasy. Probably one of the greatest examples, to be honest. I love Rick Riordan. It's so good. But the reason why it's urban fantasy is because it's these children of gods, of Zeus, of Poseidon, and yet they go to the Golden Gate Bridge, or what's it called, the dam, that dam bridge, and they go to the Empire State Building, and they go to all these different places, and they have to worry about food and getting money and bus taxes and evil witches. It's It's a mixture of both. It's so good. But you also have other examples of things that exist in urban fantasy, but really go more into the fantasy aspect. I think Harry Potter is a great example of that because Harry Potter is, and they sometimes, I think a lot. So that's a little bit overview of what urban fantasy. Is. Now I'm going to discuss how my world is urban fantasy of things that are the same between our regular world and things that are different, things that are added to make this world different than just the regular world. Because if nothing was different, then it would just be fiction, like just urban fiction. There's a word for it. I'm spacing on it now. So we're gonna go up to the board. The camera's going to follow me, presumably. It followed me. In the world I'm going to create and our characters are going to exist in. And it's not gonna be a regular Venn diagram with like a little sliver in the middle. It's gonna look more like this. Where there's a tiny little bit of what doesn't exist in this universe, a lot of what stays the same, and then heck of a lot that is different. And I know my markers are not that great. Let me see if I can try to find a slightly better one. Maybe.
I think you should use red or blue.
Red? I think I'm thinking
More dramatic.
more dramatic. I like red. That is a word from our producer. Okay, let me try red. Let me try this again. Okay, and I'm gonna make it a little smaller. Can you see that better, Dad?
A little, to be honest, not much.
Yeah.
Fat. We need fat ones.
Fat markers. Really big fat markers. Big fat markers. Maybe here I'll add a little squiggly dot line so it's easier. Okay, that did not help at all. It's so fantastic.
Wait, we got something here.
Oh, better markers. Calling in an assist. Whiteboard mark. Oh, that's so much better. Okay, let's try this. Okay, wait. Let's try. Oof. Oh, there we go. I got it.
Yeah, keep it wide.
Keep it wide. Okay.
Do the first one wide now.
First one wide. Okay. This is how to draw a Venn diagram with Sophie Rose. Artist that we know, so. Okay, so real world, both, and then our world, the fictional. I have the worst handwriting. You're allowed to say it. I'm better with the normal, but this is a thick thing. Okay. So I'm going to start with things that are the same. Some good examples. Modern history and ancient history for the most part, like their ancient pyramids of Giza, China, all the seven wonders. You also have, like things that happened in the last 100 years. Those are generally going to stay the same because it's the regular world, things that affect us. World War II definitely happened, Cold War, all those things. And then technology, for the most part, is also going to be the same. So, history, technology, slang and language is going to be the same because everybody's speaking, at least in this book, we'll be speaking English because I speak English. And then we also have other things that exist in this world and also affect the other world. I would say culture. A lot of culture is the same as well. There's not a Star Wars culture like of different alien planets. No, it's the same culture. And then we have what is different. This is very, very fun. Okay, things that are different. I refer to this agency as glove because when I was in 4th grade, I saw a friend wearing a really cool pair of gloves and I was like, I'm gonna name my entire book, Good Guy Agency, after those cool gloves. I have rethought this in recent times. I have realized that name does not quite, what's the word? fit the agency that I'm going for, what it has become to be over time. So there'll be the good guy agency, and there'll also be a good guy agency that likewise I will be coming up with a new name for in this video. Bad guy agency. So these two are going to be connected, and I'm going to go into those more, or part of the world building of this episode. So what else is different? Science is going to be a little bit different. I'm not breaking any natural laws of science for the most part, but I will be. I need science to fit a specific power levels, power scaling that I want in this universe, because I want, obviously, my main character to have electric abilities, and that's not something we know is possible in our real world for the most part, unless somebody discovers, and if you do, sign me up. Yeah, they can do anything, so I can do anything I want. Percy Jackson has like 8 ancient gods and they bend water. You should read the books, it's so good, or the series. Well, why? No, that's not true. There were so many other things. Okay, so science is going to be a little different, and we're also going to have different science organizations. This is important for our main character's backstory, because the reason why she gets her powers is through something that happens, an event. An attack happens at a electrical study field hosted by her father, and when this happens, it affects her negatively to the point where she develops these superpowers and then gets kidnapped. So we're going to have to science org. Going to have to invent that as well today. Then anything else that was different? Let me check my notes. Am I still on the thing? Is it following me? Okay, good. Let me check my notes. Was there anything else that I needed to cover that is different? No, I don't think so. Venn diagram, good guy. Yeah, and I guess I should also point out that superpowers is different. People have superpowers in this world. So since people have superpowers, we need science. See, it's all, oh, it lost me. Hey, welcome back. It's me. Can you find me again? Did you find me?
I'm not sure how to do that.
You have to like hold a little box over my face.
Davis!
Well, I will just stay right here for now while we're figuring it out. So I suppose you're wondering, Sophie, what is going to go in that little sliver on the side that we can't see right now, where that only exists in the real world but is not going to exist in our world?
How do you find a base?
Oh, he just did it. He just touched it. In today's episode of My Dad Struggles with Modern Technology. I'm kidding. You're doing so great. I love you so much. Davis just has the magic touch.
I really do.
He really does.
Me yesterday while they were having they called me last.
They called you yesterday?
No, on Monday they called me because they had technical problems.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, you've done everything. All right.
You just come in and just waved your wand.
No, I just started talking. I was just like,
he just started talking and it started
again.
fixing it.
Yeah, it just worked.
They had a technical problem and they just needed it to hear your voice, the soothing lullaby to fix it.
We'll make offerings to them.
All right, so now that it's following me, I'm going to show you what's going to go in this sliver of what exists in the real world, but it's not going to exist in my book. And that's going to be specific names and very modern politics. I don't want to get wishy-washy with things that are actually happening in real life versus what's going to be affected by our groups. I might allude to some things that are happening, like as things happen, but I mostly want to keep it mostly separate because this is supposed to be fun, and sometimes talking about that stuff makes it really unfun. So, modern politics and names. If I have to make a random, like, oh, hey, come back. It's gonna follow me?
Yes, sorry.
Oh, not just tap it. My IT guys are arguing. I shouldn't call you IT. I should call you producers. That's what you guys are.
He's the producer.
You're the producer. You're okay. And I love you both very, very much. Okay, now that that's out of the way, and I know what's going to be in the real world versus the fictional world, now I can go into what only exists in my head, and I can look through those and I can expand upon those things. So we've got the good guy agency, the bad guy agency, and the science and power scaling of the universe. So I'm going to do the good guy agency first, because that is what I had prepared. Put a little slideshow up here. And I'm going to erase this so I can write more. Has it lost me? Okay. Oh, this erase is way better too. That's quite nice. Anyone love just like the aesthetics of like whiteboard thing? Like ASMR. It's so satisfying. I love whiteboards. I'm so glad whiteboards destroyed the chalkboard industry. So lovely for that.
You can't put your fingers on a whiteboard like you could on a chalkboard.
That's good. Nobody likes the chalkboard sound. Have anybody heard the chalkboard sound? It's awful. Okay, I'm going to split screen into the thing. Awesome. So I'm going to talk about our good guy agency, and I'm going to talk a little bit about some inspirations I've had over the years regarding this good guy agency, because I really want these good guy agencies to embody some elements. These guys, I want to be the complete opposite of the bad guys, but I don't want it to be what it's been like for good spy agencies in recent years. So let's see, you can't quite see it right here, but in what's cut off there is Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was a huge inspiration to me. I loved watching it growing up. You can ask any of my friends. That was a show that like got me hooked. If you don't like actual Marvel, like modern, like the newer ones, you should go back and watch like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Daredevil. Like those ones are way better in my opinion. So Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., S.H.I.E.L.D. obviously in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, was created to combat Hydra. I don't want my good guy agency to be like that. I want my good guy agency to be more, they invented themselves first because they saw a need in the world, and then evil rose to combat that. It formalized and created a pushback of their positive influence they wanted to have on the world. Because I am of the belief that good comes first and evil will rise to combat it. And it goes the other way too, because if there is an awful thing that happens, then also good will form to push back. But I feel like we see so much of that. It's always someone does something bad and somebody rises to stop it. No, I just want someone who does good for good, and then evil rose to, because they don't like that, because they want to be evil. So I wonder if it'll still follow me while I'm split screened. But good guy agency, good guys. And I need a name, and I will eventually, you can kind of not see it. It's fine. So I want them to be first, I suppose. They were first. And unlike on the screen, you'll see Mission Impossible Fallout, which is obviously from IMF, the secret organization used to tackle America's hardest missions. The difference between my agency and those agencies, and you can kind of see the Kingsman on the corner there, is that those ones subscribe to a specific nation. For the purposes of my book, I don't want it to subscribe to a specific nation. I want them to actually be something for the whole world to sort of partake in. They're going to be a peacemaking organization, sort of a worldwide agreed upon police to sort of regulate the world's misdeeds and abuses of power.
Like Power Rangers?
Like Power Rangers, except for that's from threats from space.
Sorry.
Oh, wait, so follow me. Okay.
It'll fall as long as you stay close by.
As long as I stay close by, so I can't run out.
It wants you to look at it every once in a while.
I don't know. That's for the entire internet to see now. Everybody saw that. Okay, so worldwide influence. Worldwide, and I want peacemaking. They're supposed to step in when the world gets unfair. And they are also supposed to, what was the word I was going to say? Unbiased. Since they don't subscribe to a specific nation, they're from people all around the world with different interests, different loyalties, but this organization is meant to be unbiased towards evil and thing.
Do they speak Italian?
They could. I might have an Italian character. Unbiased. Do I have any other slides? Okay, I'm going to bring back to one. So as it comes for the name, so these are the attributes. They were first in line. They've existed first. They are worldwide known. They're meant to keep peace, whether that be through strength or through just simple diplomacy. And they're supposed to be unbiased in the world. So those are the four main things. Maybe really three, because you can't really put first in like a mission statement. But those are the attributes that I have collected to them. So I'm going to talk more about the history and then the leadership of this good guy agency that I want. We'll talk more about leadership because I know more about that one. Last live stream, I talked about a character, Director Fallon. I had decided pretty early on that this character was going to be the head of this organization. And since she is, kind of top dog in charge, she was going to be pretty heavily influencing the protagonist's choices because the protagonist is a girl who can control lightning and is her best agent. So she's going to be really hands-on. So Director Fallon is this leadership, but how should the leadership be decided? Is it going to be I don't like the idea that there's just one person in charge because it's supposed to be unbiased and worldwide, and it's harder to be unbiased when a single person can be pretty unbiased, but I feel like two people keeping each other in check is more, and then three, and then four, so on and so forth. So let me think about leadership. Can I have space over here? Is it following me?
Better over there.
Better over here?
Yeah.
Cool. Leadership. I think I want a council. I want a council of maybe, I think 5 people, because if they vote on something, you need 3 to have a majority. Or maybe, I don't know, because I want checks and balances, but majority rules as a check as a balance is not that great, because if you have 3 people who are rational or irrational and 2 people who are rational, then it's not good. So how do I have a better checks and balances system? Unanimous. Unanimous.
Unanimity.
Unanimity.
They have to agree.
They all have to agree. I like that. So council of 5 people, one of which will be Director Fallon. And Director Fallon is this military type individual because she's the one sending Ashley and Ember on these protection details, on these infiltration details, on these more violent kind of confrontations. So she could be the military leader, their strength, their head over the agents. And then there could be another leader who is meant for diplomacy and peacemaking. They're meant to be this middle, what's the word? Peacemaker? Mitigator? What's the guy in... Mediator. Thank you. So Director Fallon is going to be this military operator. Military. And then I need a mediator character who will be this more politician type mediator. And they will never get along. Because they'll always be hey, you can't just send our agents down there to check that out. We have an agreement with them. And she'll be yeah, but they are not following the rules. And he'll be okay.
Peace through strength.
Yes, peace through strength. It's like Iron Man. My dad always said, peace is whoever has the bigger stick or something. It's a line from the first one. I can't remember. Okay, so I want 5. So what are the 5 attributes? Okay, so we have peace through strength is kind of our main director Fallon, and then we have peace through diplomacy. What about like peace through innovation? There could be a technical director, so a technical person. Okay, so we got military, mediator, technical. And what other aspects would we need for unbiased peacemaker worldwide first? Peace through relief, maybe? Or is that too close to innovative?
No, relief is
That's different.
different.
Yeah, because that one just like is technological improvements, and relief is more like just helping after disasters sort of thing.
Or could you be helping those who need the most help?
Yeah.
The helpless.
Yeah, the relief, the charity sort of aspect.
Those who are underprivileged and need help.
Yeah, because this worldwide institution that we're creating is meant to serve all countries kind of equally, at least the countries that, because like obviously if, I'm just gonna say blanket statement to keep it simple. Supposed to try and serve, but the ones in need the most, that would like after like a disaster strikes, would this organization could go, and there's no like political uprest for these guys to help, because that's just their entire job, is to help everybody. So they go where need is fit. Okay, so we got council of the military, the mediator, the technical, the relief, and then we want one more. One just like purely unbiased money. I don't know. Like someone who handles all the funds, the fundraising, the accountant. The accountant, I like that. Someone who just runs this is fun for me and my dad because we do like financial stuff. So, and I'm in accounting 200 right now at BYU, so it's fun. So the accountant. Okay, how am I doing on time? What time is it? 4 o'clock. We are a third of the way through. So I think that means I'm on track. I had an entire schedule. Can't remember what it is. Okay, so we got Director Fallon, and her personality type is very strong, very red type personality, if you've ever taken those color tests. I, too, am a red-based personality, so is my father. And then we have these 4 other characters that I need to invent to make up this council. I'll get into that. I might do that. So that's our leadership. We have our council, and then each one will have its own department. So Ashley Parks, our main characters, they work in Director Fallon's department. That is our peace through strength department. I like this piece for something. Like, I like that statement. That's fun. Peace through
Balance.
Yeah, that's the account. Gotta balance the balance sheet. Peace through ... Does that make a decent name? Because I need a name for my peace through. Peace through. Or could I just call it peace? Is that pretty on the nose though? Because there's a ton of like peace. Peace. Because I need a name for this. I'm gonna look up other words for peace. See if I can come up with a name. Because I need a name. Because glove is not gonna work anymore.
Gloves out.
Gloves out. Peace. Could I make it an acronym? I know that's really, really stereotypical, but I could make like PEACE, but that's so on the nose. Okay. Other words for peace. Other words for peace. Tranquility, harmony, accord. Accord's kind of nice. Peace through accord.
Peace through accord.
Peace through, is that a name though?
Well, accord is a agreement.
Yeah, so I like that.
An accord is, you strike an accord.
Well, that could be the department. Like these could be the department names. Like there's the peace through strength department, peace through balance department, which is the accounting, peace through relief, peace through innovation, and then peace through accord is the diplomacy one, where we have, yeah, I like that better. Oh, wait, what were all those letters? Wait, let me write this down. Okay, so we got peace through accord, that's A. Peace through innovation, that's I. Peace through strength, which is S. Peace through balance, which is for B. And then peace, what was the last? Relief. Okay, that doesn't make a word. I have raised. I have
Peace for what? What was that one of the letters?
AISBR. You know what, I'm gonna put it up. Okay.
We change some of these letters.
Yeah, and maybe I can form a word through that. Did I lose it? Is this one a different color? No, they're both blue. Okay, so we got, did you find me? We got A, B, I, balance for accounting.
Oh, balance.
I, R, S. Aberge. Saber? Saber?
Saber.
Saber's way better. Saber with an I. I like, Saber's pretty good. I'll call it, because it sounds like a Power Rangers thing again. Saber. Agents of Saber. Do you think that's a decent, like, book name? Because the original book name for this novel was Agents of Glove. And Glove had an entire acronym that made no sense. Agents of Saber. That kind of sounds cool.
That sounds kind of cool.
Okay, well, let me rewrite this. Okay. Saber. Okay, I'm gonna really quickly check and make sure that's not a real. The rabes. Rabies. Okay, I'm going to make sure this is not an actual word.
Saber?
Saber meaning. Oh, it's a U.S. Army system. Wait, what? It's, wait, this is a real actual, like, U.S. department. It's called Service for Analytics and Business Intelligence Report. It's a real thing. Well, that makes me feel dumb that this is not unique. That's okay. Maybe it'll be funny. You know how, like, there's CIA, which is, like, the Culinary Institution of America? It'll be like that.
I think it's pretty unique.
Yeah, I like it. We're going to keep it.
I mean, you've also got the French pigeon language in North Africa.
I did see that. And it's also an Arabic boy's name that means patient or persevering, which is also two things I would like to associate with this agency. So I like it. And I like that strength comes first, because strength is kind of the department that we're going to spend the most time in. Although this does kind of give me some ideas, because I have my professor character, Professor Gray, who's not a part of the agency at all. But over time, I was thinking at the end of the book, I was like, this guy should become more of a prevalent character, because I like this guy. This guy, I'm forming in my brain. He's a cool, nerdy type character. And maybe he could one day become director of innovation, because he's going to be the smart guy. So that could be part of his future that we could come up with. Do you guys like my little trash can? Okay. Okay. So we have our council and our each departments. I'm not going to worry about the other departments for now. I will eventually make a little thing where I'll try to post maybe updates on the community, like, this is who I want to create for this character that we talked about. But for now, I'm only going to focus on the Peace Through Strength department, because that department is the department we're going to spend the most time in. So the Peace Through Strength department, led by Director Fallon, what do we know about it? It employs agents, because Ashley Parks is one of the agents. And this is something I want to keep from my first drafts, was they have different types of missions. They have infiltration, as in to get into somewhere and gain information. They have protection details, where they are protecting important people whose lives are in danger from active threats. And 3, they are meant to, what was the third one? Oh yeah, attack missions, when they are supposed to take a threat out. These are the most controversial ones. So we have those 3 different missions. And so they're going to be the agents that can do kind of all 3 of those in order to be applied. And agents, because Ashley Parks is the only one, until Ember comes along, of her kind that has these powers that are unheard of. So these powers help her become an agent, but there are also just regular people doing these jobs as well. But she's never been partnered with any of them because she is somewhat of a loose cannon. It isn't until Ember Fry comes along, also with these abilities, strangely, that they're like, oh, now we can partner you up. You're 2 loose cannons. Put your loose cannons together. Organize your ducks, except for the ducks are cannons. And then you sound like a duck. Everyone around you. This is so great. I'm going to check the chat real quick, see if anyone's been commenting, because I need to do that more, because I want to say hi. Though I know there's a minute lag. Oh my gosh, Naomi's been here the whole time. That's my best friend. Oh. It's saying, we have a comment saying sound seems to come and go.
No.
That's sad, because I've been
Davis?
doing some great stuff here. This is fantastic. Also, by the way, if you're watching, please like and subscribe and comment below your thoughts about the name Saber for our good guy agency. I'm going to keep going, though, because the rest not the wicked. So, Saber, let's talk about more peace through strength. So the sound was kind of going in and out. I don't know if it was maybe a selected problem. It might be fine. And if it's not something we can... Davis. If it's not something we can figure out right now, then I say we don't worry about it till after. Okay, I'm erasing this.
Could likely be the stream connection issue.
I think next week we'll have fixed the stream connection.
No, this issue is
Next week, we will likely have fixed the stream connection issue.
that's very low. That is very low. I know what the problem is. It's what I was rooting around in the attic for. What's the problem? Oh, I just need that much more direct.
Our connection is not quite direct, so if you're having some difficulties, that seems to be why. So we're definitely gonna have that figured out, but it's a journey of improvement. Okay. So I'm going to spend more time down here because I'm tired of walking back up there. And peace through strength. Okay, it's 4:10. I want to keep going until 5 o'clock. So we got 50 minutes left. We still need to go through our bad guy agency. And then the parallels between our 2 agencies. But first, peace through strength department. Peace through strength. Or the PC... Wait, PT... Wait, isn't PTS something else already? I'm gonna look this up. PTS, meaning, is that an acronym? Post-traumatic stress, parts payment, yeah, PTS. Okay, so, okay, peace through strength. Peace through strength. Okay, here we got this. I'm gonna put this up here. That's our department. Now our department has the 3 missions, which I'm gonna write out each one. We talked about infiltration, assault. I kind of want to use. I might find. Ugh, I just got Sharpie all over me. Okay, another word for assault, because it's kind of a really negative connotation to that word. Strike. Strike is better. Okay, so we have, get a different color. I have different colors. We've got infiltration. Infiltration. Do not mess up the spelling today. Infiltration. We have strike. And we have protection. And these 3, so this is an unbiased worldwide serving organization. So how do they decide what missions to go on? It's got to be, there has to be some sort of judgment made. So Director Fallon sort of has a job. Her job is to decide what missions need to be held, and sort of criteria that could come with that is, what missions will serve the benefit of the whole world and also just general morality systems, you know. Date rate, cache is full. Oh no, our cache is full. No. Okay. And some of these I also think could be requested by different government organizations, that they could be like, hey, come help us. And they'll be like, okay. I've also thought about funding. I really want to go through the Peace Through Balance department, because I really want to figure out how they would finance an organization like this. Probably mostly through their innovation department. They would have like technology that they would patent and then go forward. But I also think there might be something to say about the fact that their strike teams could be, I don't want to say bought, but sort of maybe like the protection details could be bought. Like those are something that is, like, I don't want to say like product, but like a service that could be reimbursed. I mean, like you pay a protection detail in real life, and even if they weren't paid, they would have the same, assumedly the same power. They would say the same motivation, I should say, to do a good job, because it's their job. So yeah, I could say that those ones might be paid. So they have these three. Did I write it down? No, I did not. I got distracted. Protection. Okay. I've got these three. Did I lose you? Come back. Huh? Strike, infiltration, and protection. They've got these three different missions, these services that they provide. And they serve, the people they send to complete these missions are agents. And so this is a little bit different from like the IMF or the Mission Impossible. These aren't impossible missions. These could just be like every day, like this is like a job. It's a little more corporate-y, but it's also jobs with incredibly high stakes. And occasionally they'll have, you know, higher stake missions and lower stake missions. Like regular missions they just give to like starter out agents, and then they have really high stakes that they only use to the ones they trust the most. That was a lot of talking. So much talking, gang. Got my Diet Coke. You guys like my Diet Coke earrings? I got them. I love them.
I like them.
Thanks, Dad. Oh my gosh. Okay, so they have agents. And agents, I think, would presumably be made in a team, which makes Ashley a bit of an outsider because she was not given a team to start with, because she is, as we said, a loose cannon and better on solo. So, agents. Agents. Agents are the ones completing. That was an inhumane sound. Okay. So, the agents are a part of teams, as we've established, and they get paid. This is kind of a job, but they are also, you know, probably signed through millions of different things. So, is there anything else I need to build out that will come up later? Ashley works directly under Director Fallon. Do they have? I would imagine that these agents are all housed on site. Like there's a military, I'm thinking like maybe an island, because I want this to be an unbiased organization, so they can't be hosted in a specific nation. They have to be like, is there any like unclaimed sea that like they can make like a man-made island, and that's where they host it? Like that's where they have their base of operations, and then that presumably they would always, everything, all their ways of life would be provided here. They would have a gym, they would have housing, and they would have school, internet, of those type of things. So I'm gonna write those down. Okay. So live, breathe, the job. Island, home. Kind of sounds like a vial, you know, from Carmen Sandiego, but the good version. They're allowed to leave. Live, breathe the job. Island home. Usually in teams. Probably really, really good military, like gear and that sort of technology. They have a ton of that stuff.
Does it take place on this Earth?
Yes, this is Earth. My dad was asking if it takes place on this world. It does. This is there's the United States. There's Australia exists. Britain exists. There is Germany. All the different countries. They all exist. So I think that's everything I needed to cover for the good guy agency. I think I'll flesh out a little bit more of like the culture of like being and the ramifications that these decisions are going to have on the characters, because now that I'm kind of deciding that they're maybe going to be like on an island a little bit secluded. Oh, this is good. That we'll get into when I start plotting. Yes. Okay. So now I'm going to move from good guy agency. Now I want to talk about the bad guy agency. So I'm going to get these all off the thing. Doof. 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 And doof. Did you follow me? Oh no. Keep following me. Come back down. Come back down to dinner. Come home, darling. No one minds the
That
wicked.
one's for sale.
Oh, an island, literally for sale. Okay. It says it's been sold.
Yeah, but there's other ones around it.
There's other ones. Oh my gosh. How much did it sell? A private island, 220 acres. Turnkey income. Cave K is an exclusive private island. Yeah, like this, but bought by an independent organization devoted to world peacemaking.
A lot of them in the Caribbean.
Cool.
Could be worse places.
Could be worse places to go. Oh, absolutely. Like they could be like in the tundra and that would suck. But I like the fact that they're secluded, which that aspect will force our main characters to have to talk to each other because there's no one else to talk to. Nowhere to go. Okay, bad guy agency. Now, I used to call this one Gauntlets because it was like the opposite of Glove. You know, it was like a grittier, darker, metal-y version of Gauntlet. Of Glove. So, but I also want to change that. I don't know if I want to do the opposite of Saber. I would rather do something completely different because I almost don't want these to be linked together at all. Because I know in the biggest example of this is Shield and Hydra, and Shield and Hydra's like past and history and future are like mega intertwined. They're two sides of the same coin. I don't really want that. I want these to be independent organizations with their own goals, and during the course of this book they're starting to clash because one is going to learn the existence of the other, and it's going to cause some problems because it's hard to be a world peacemaking institution and you see someone who is set on a world breaking institution. Like that's kind of the opposite of what we want. So I'm going to pull up my presentation with a few examples of evil organization types that have existed. And again, the spacing is not correct because I did not know how to do it, but now I know, and I will fix it for next time. So you see black, and then let there be light. Ah! Okay, you see Hydra, and you'll see in the corner there's Vile, which I mentioned earlier from Carmen Sandiego, and you'll also see the little tiny bit of Gun from Sonic the Hedgehog, even though that one's technically a good guy, but they are sometimes very hostile, so I put them on the list. I think a better example of an actual like bad guy organization would be like Love Muffins from Phineas and Ferb. But our organization isn't gonna be anything like those, okay? Hydra is very similar to SHIELD, as in like they have like department, like orders of leadership and department people they send out and agents that they train. I don't want any of that, okay? I just want imperialistic type powers that are trading with each other with the intent to create more division and more destruction in order for their own influence. Their whole thing is gaining influence. Influence to gain influence. They want to break nations apart. They want to feed into violence. They want more and more of this, and then they want to profit off of those same actions, those same wars. So very bad. And they're going to do this through multiple different avenues, by creating civil unrest, by creating media like hysteria and lies. They're going to spread a lot of false advertisement. They're also just going to gain power. They will have like a military sort of thing. Like they're going to have agents that they work with. It's like a web. Or maybe not a web, like a series of messages, like a polyline system, where one guy is working with another guy, with another woman, trying to, like, hey, if you cause these terrible things to happen, I will pay you this much because that's going to help my bottom line, or that's going to help me get the guy I want to win into the political thing. And I want you to remember, this is all fiction. I'm not pertaining to your real life events at all. So just want to make that known right now. So I've got this web of individuals, these different people all connected. And then through those lines of communication, they're working with someone to send these secret messages back and forth. These messages that are so incredibly incriminating if anybody were to know. They're completely drowned in secrecy. That is something completely different from the other, from Saber. Saber is completely transparent. Every single nation knows about them. They have a website. People know about them. People can apply to work for them, but they are extremely well funded and vetted. So good, because obviously if you're gonna give sort of this authority to this unbiased organization, you better make sure they're unbiased. So I'm gonna change back to 1. Welcome back. So, do I draw the web? Yeah, I'm gonna draw the web. The web of the web of. I like that. I like that very much. Okay. Okay. The web of influence. And I don't know who these influencers are going to be yet. Those are going to be villains that I'm not going to touch upon very much, because that's a lot to do. And I don't want to. I just want them to kind of be these shadowy mystery figures that the audience, our characters, don't even know who they are really. But I do want this to be a very formalized line of communication between all these individuals. It's like the darkest club in the world, okay? It's like, this is the real Illuminati bad boy club, okay? And they don't all have to be boys. Some of them will be women, because women can be awful people too. So we've got bad guy number 1. Bad guy, and he's contacting another bad dude over here. Nope, that's terrible. Bad dude. And you know what? They both work with this other person, this triangle character, because I've invented. And they also, you know what, both work with another person. And you know what? This person does too. And this person's going to work with them. And they're going to work with other people. And they're going to work with them. And you know, number 3, number 4. And it's going to be, like, I'm going to finalize a number of individuals who are part of this, but I think it's going to be a pretty sizable number. It's not going to be, like, 7 evil people, 7 evil sins. No, I actually want it to be, like, a group of, like, I don't know, like 100 people, maybe, of these people who are using their influence to cause division across the whole world. And you know what? The main thing that I want to focus on are these lines of communication, because all of these communications, these secret signs and signals they send to each other, all go through one person. This is when they all climax to one individual who is in charge of taking all the information, sending out to the right people, and making sure nobody ever finds out about it. And that's going to be our character, Conrad Grimm. And this isn't going to be his real name. This is going to be more of a title. Like, when you are Conrad Grimm, this is your job. This is what you do for a living. He's going to take all this information and he's going to send it out. And that gives him basically, even though he's not, you know, these people with so many powers and people with rich things or people with this much influence, he's just kind of maybe a regular guy, a very skilled guy, but a very regular guy. But because he is trusted with this job, he's in a way the most powerful person. And he's going to be our main, like we talked about in Livestream 1, he's going to be our main antagonist for the book. For the book. Okay. So much talking. It's so hard. So, this lines of communication are going to be set, and I want to press that this secret organization, this bad boy club, is responsible for some things. I'm going to have to like put in a little bit like conspiracy theorists, like, were they responsible for this event, for this tragedy, for this? Like, I'm not going to try to like confirm anything because I don't, unless I can do a lot of research, which would be fun, and I can like go into those conspiracy theories, and I can see like, ooh, maybe it was our thing that was responsible for it the whole time, and nobody knows. I might do something like that. That would be really fun. Like, the pyramids. No, just kidding. I don't want it to be that ancient, though. I actually prefer it if they were more modern, like last 100 years type, and also after Saber was created, sort of thing, where they have to do these secret dealings in so much more secrecy because the world has given airtime to this very transparent, unbiased organization that, for the most part, is doing a really good job. Saber, good place to work, at least for this book. Whether that changes would be so sad. So, what name? I liked the web of communication thing, although that's really overdone. The spider web thing. That wasn't like 12 shows like Sherlock and other things. What are other like things that connect, like chains or something? Chain of influence. Is that a thing? Chain of influence? Chain of influence. Oh, okay, it's like a sickness thing. I like that. The chain. If you're a part of the chain, you are. Is that I don't know if I love it. We good. I didn't get anything on my clothes. The chain of, I don't know if I like chain. I don't like it. Okay. Other words for chain. Shackles. Manacles. What are these words? Jive? Ugh. I don't like that. Hitch, hobble, imprison, tie, what is that thing? A series of interconnected things or events. Concatenation. Concatenation. No, it's concatenation. Concatenation? Oh, concade. My pronunciation is going to be a real big problem in this series. After the last episode, my dad came up to me and he was like, you know it's preface, right? Not preface. And I was like, okay, Mr. Grammar, like, geez. I'm quite shocked that it is not preface. I feel like it should be preface because you're prefacing it with the information. Preface makes no sense. It's not an I sound. But apparently the French came up with it, so they must be right. Ah, stupid. What is an example of a I kind of like that. Concatenate? Can I make? I like the idea that's concatenation. Like it's a nation of. But it doesn't sound like sinister though. It just sounds regular. It sounds boring. But like Conrad Graham, like it's the same letters, so it kind of works. Okay, you know what? We're gonna table bench this. I'm gonna try to come up with a few more ideas. You guys comment down below what you guys like. You know, actually, let me check your live streams. Maybe chat. Maybe someone else has come up with something that I cannot, because so far all I've got good is concatenation. Concatenation? Concatenation. Concatenation? It has the word cat in it though. I can't have a super sinister group of bad guys called with the word cat in it. That's dumb. I can't have the word cat. Okay, no, I'm nixing it. No way. No way, Jose. We ain't doing it. Okay. Other words for concatenation. Other words. It doesn't have to be like one word. It could be a new word, like we invented Saber, like an acronym, but I don't love it. Sequence, chain, string, link, nexus. Ooh, nexus. Nexus. I like that. A connected group. Nexus, nexus. The command nexus, the demand nexus, the influence nexus, the influence chain, the chain of influence, the directory of nexus, the nexus direct, the nexus, the. I'm gonna start tweaking. I'm gonna crash out right here on camera. Okay. Combine, interconnect, concatenate. I don't think I'm saying that word connect correctly. Connectly. I'm gonna scream. Concatenate. I don't even know. Okay, I'm benching it, but that's our bad guy. It's not. I'm not really gonna do as much work like world building on this because simply I want my characters to discover it along the way. I do want it to be clothed with this sort of mystery. All I know is that they do influence certain events to go wrong because it will better serve them. And that's not to say they can't make certain events go right, or at least arguably right for their own interests, because obviously if you're just making things blow up, people are going to notice that. So it's so careful. It's this like Jenga game of they're trying to affect things, the domino effect to fall correctly into their hands, into their sphere of influence, into their power sphere power. I'm hoping if I keep rambling, I will come up with something genius. Just accidentally, like, wait, say that again. Like, that's what I want, but I'm not coming up with nothing. Okay. Nope, I'm not gonna come up with anything. So we're gonna move on. We're gonna move on to power scaling, the powers of this universe. Why does Ashley have superpowers? This is the question. What allows in her physiology to be able to do this and not die? So it goes back to her origin. I've decided that her father was an experimenter of some kind. And I've been doing a little research. Over the years, I've come up with different reasons, like sciencey reasons why this would be possible. One idea I had was that I would do what's it called? Like when your heart beats, it would give off a frequency that would perfectly be aligned with the frequency of different elements. And when you had this energy flush through you, that frequency would become active and you would be able to manipulate those elements. So that was one idea. And while I liked it for the reason like that's why you are able to control fire versus air versus water versus like if you get this very rare thing done to you, then whatever your heart like the frequency of your heartbeat is connected to, it would affect. I kind of like that. I might still try to work with something like that. I gotta stop playing with these, man. Putting you away. To the pink marker we go. I like the pink marker. Pink marker is nice. What was I saying? Oh yeah. No, I forgot. Oh yeah, heartbeats. Heartbeats. So if I don't have the heartbeat thing, because it wasn't just that, it was like that combined with like this energy, this cosmic energy being flushed through your body, kind of altering your like it was like an extra element. Like it was like fluid but also air, and it would just fill and kind of change your DNA over time. It would help the characters like muscles grow, because when you break your muscles down, the element would kind of like fuse into those muscles, and so when you rebuild it, it grows back even stronger than usual or normally. And I like that. And I really want to expand more about the cosmic energy of it, because isn't like dark energy like space energy or space solar power? Not solar power. I want like, what's it, like dark matter sort of thing? Dark matter space thing. What is that? Dark matter in space refers to a mysterious, invisible substance that makes up the majority of mass in the universe, which we can only detect through its gravitational influence on visible matters like stars and galaxies, as it doesn't emit or interact with light in any way. It is the glue holding galaxies together. So I want to continue on this. I want to think more about like this energy. What is gravity, you know? Like, do we really understand what gravity is? What is that energy? What is that pull and push force? What is that at all? And if you could harness whatever energy is either behind that or intrinsically infused with gravity, with some dark matter, with what just light and like sun, if that was flushed with a human person, what would that do to them? It can make galaxies form, it can make planets come together, it can make entire ecosystems of planets work together. If that was put into a person, what kind of effect would they have on elements? Would they be able to have this connection with energy like this mysterious substance has with everything else? That's what I want to know. And that's what I want to be the basis of the superpowers. So Ashley's dad is going to be like a NASA scientist, except for not NASA. I'm going to invent something else. I don't know what, just like some random upstart government-funded organization. And then our bad guy in club, the sphere of influence. I might use that for now. Sphere of influence comes and they send assassins to derail this project, to make it go wrong, maybe to loosen people's trust in this sort of experimenting, to also take the notes and the findings of this experiment for themselves and their own gain. But then when they do this, when they have this tech, Ashley's going to be there, and they're going to try and cause it to kind of erupt, to explode. And when this happens, that energy that they were working so hard to harness gets flushed, not only, I think, into Ashley, but maybe to the whole world. And if it's kind of like this power emerges, I would love it to be sort of something that we don't really realize. Like, they don't realize the impact that that crash had, or the explosion had on the world. They don't realize how far it's gonna, like radiation almost. Like, when Mary Curie or something was figuring out radiation, she didn't realize it was poisoning her until she like died, and that was really sad. I would like it to be that, because the only people capable of taking readings and harnessing this kind of unseen, it's almost like the Force, a more sciencey version of the Force, is the people that they just sent terrorists and kind of killed, except for her dad is gonna live, because I need him to live. So this mysterious it's like, oh, imagine the whole world was kind of just like infected. Have you heard that theory that like oxygen has something in it that's kind of killing us really slowly over time? And that's why we die at like 90 versus other times. Like we're actually immortal, but we just are slowly, this is something in the oxygen making us age. It's kind of like that. Like what if there was this unseen, unreadable energy substance, and when Ashley was closest to it, when it got to her, it changed her DNA somehow. And then how does it get to Ember? Because something I did want to keep from the first drafts is I wanted to decide that the only reason why it activates on some people versus others would be a very specific chemical explosion happening in your brain. The chemicals that form when you feel fear. Because what are the chemicals that form? Chemicals in your brain when you feel fear. Because obviously if like this stuff is just like everywhere and it's just like all over the world, why does not everybody have superpowers? Why only, for as we know, Ashley have superpowers and nobody else? Well, that's going to be because you have to have a criteria. You have to, one, have this fear chemical happening in your brain. Norepinephrine, yep, and adrenaline, which is epinephrine, which are considered stress hormones, the fight or flight response. So I like this. I like this a lot, especially because when we go back to our theme, our bonds are stronger than our pain. Pain often results in these emotions, in stress, in fight or flight risk, you know? When we feel like we are in danger, we are going to be hurt, we often feel these emotions. And sometimes, you know, what's the opposite? What gets you to calm down, you know? For me, what gets me to calm down sometimes, like a cat. I love cats, man. I also, or like senses, or friends, or people, you know, someone to talk to. Like those are things that make you calm down, which is kind of, it's going to be a thing in the book where Ashley's powers are going to get out of control. And that's because she's feeling so much of this stress chemicals and these adrenaline chemicals. And when they do that, it gets too hard to manage, which also makes sense that you would need those chemicals in place to even have these powers to begin with at all. So when these terrorists, when the sphere of influence comes and they attack her father's work, they're going to attack, she's going to be afraid, she's going to think she might die. And in this moment when they cause it to erupt, the thingy, the science project, they're harnessing science project, she's going to be right there, she's going to be feeling fear. And then the second criteria, because we all feel fear, so why wouldn't it happen? You have to be electrocuted. You have to have a bunch of chemicals and also electricity surge through your body, because you know what? You have to be a little bit broken for this substance to enter. It's almost like there's going to be like a million tiny burning entrances all over your body for this chemical, this mysterious substance to be into her body, interact with these chemicals, and boom, that results in her powers. And then as this mysterious substance, this unreadable, unseeable, unsmellable, like you cannot detect it by the human eye or senses or even any technology, is spreading all throughout the world slowly, people with these same criteria as met, who are feeling afraid and stressed, who are then shocked with the right amount of electricity to not die, will start to develop these powers. So cool. It's so fun. And so this is also going to bring up a great question. How many people in the universe have these powers? As far as we know, Ashley was the first recorded because she was the closest to the eruption site. And as it spreads throughout the Earth, there's going to be different things that might slow it down. I mean, it's unreadable to the senses, which means it doesn't like pass through air. So it's not going to be slowed down by like wind or water. It's going to be just spreading slowly, naturally. I would say maybe it spreads over the entire world, maybe like one day. But not, how many people get like electrocuted a day? That's a terrible thing to say. How many people get struck by lightning a day? No, I don't care about how many a day. I mean, how many die. Okay, worldwide, 2,000 people are struck by lightning every year. And only 10%, okay. 2,000 people every year. So 2,000 divided by 365 is, I'm an accounting major. I should know this. Okay, I'm gonna do the math. 2,000 people a day, because it has to be like a reasonable, although I would argue that some of these people were not maybe feeling, because it's like, would you feel stressed if you were about to be hit by lightning? But like, what if you didn't know if you were gonna be hit by lightning? If you were just, chilling on your deck, just eating some coffee, and then boom, you were hit by lightning, you wouldn't be afraid beforehand, so the effect would not take place. So I'm going to cancel out 1,000 of these people. I'm gonna say even half of these people were not stressed enough, which I know is amazing. I'm sure half of you in the audience are like, if that happened to me, instant powers. I am stressed, dog. Okay, 1,365. Okay. So, okay. That's about 730. 730 minus 1,000 is 72. 270. Okay, it's like 2.5-ish something. So 2.5 people a day. I'm gonna round that up to say 3 people a day. No, I'm gonna round down because that's easier for my logic. 2 people a day get struck by lightning. And only 10% die. So they have a 10% of those 2 people dying per day. So I don't want to say all those people have superpowers. There's probably also just a little bit of luck to it, Was it the right amount of electricity? Was it the right amount of the chemicals in your brain? Have you been around the mysterious substance long enough? Like, it's going to be a gamble. So I'm going to say even like 10% of those get turned into the thing. And when people do, it might not be so instantaneous of a result. In Ashley's instance, it happened pretty immediately because it was like electricity was spurring from her body because the body naturally emits electricity. And I also want to add that this mysterious substance that is like changing the DNA once it gets into your body will coat it specifically for the purposes of the power. So Ashley's body will be able to carry that much electricity in her body at once. So as she's struck by lightning, she's suddenly sparking. She's still breathing, but she's just like tweaking because she's a bunch of electricity off of her. And the evil guys are going to see this and they're going to be like, that's weird. And they're going to take her. And because that's interesting and unfounded. So they kidnap her and they show her to their evil scientists. And then secrets, because I can't say any more because I don't know yet about that part of the world building because I don't know. Wow, you can see all of my desk from down here. That's so fun. Okay. Great. And then Ember's past why she gets powers. She will also be struck by lightning somehow. I have an idea for how I want that to happen. When we get more into like character dives and like as it comes up naturally, like when we get to plotting and I reveal like this is when I want Ember to talk about when she gets her powers, then I will prepare those things beforehand before I start writing those chapters. So I can see when I need to bring it up, when I need to allude to it, or when it matters. Awesome, great. So overview of what we were able to do. We came up with our good guy agency. We came up with 4 new characters that I'm going to come up with for the different departments, the piece through departments. And we also decided a little bit more about the piece through strength department, the 3 different missions they decide and where they are homed as well. They're going to be on a Cape K island, private island. I'll have my dad find one, like, show me the private island. I'm going to buy one. Get this view to 1 million views. I'll go buy a private island and make a giant peaceful organization for the world. We could do it, gang. I really actually love the concept of Saber. I think it's pretty sweet. I feel like it's a good reflection of the sort of like things I wish were happening, sort of, this peacemaking, this unbiased, just respect across all the boards. I love that. I love peacemaking. Except for when I'm playing D&D and then I want to cause nothing but chaos. Awesome. Then we talked about the bad guy agency, what it's going to be like, what they do, Conrad Grimm's role in it. Armament's role is pretty simple too. I don't feel they need to establish the world building of that. As I think more about their individual stories, I think the world building will come naturally through that, because I'll be like, oh, where did they come from? What did they do? I'm going to write a little bit more about like Saber's founding and history during this week before next live stream. Next live stream, I think I want to move on to plotting. I think I want to do that. I want to plot. I'm going to be using the 27 chapter method, and it's going to be fantastic. I don't think I'll get through all 27 plot thingies, but maybe we can get through half of them. Maybe we can do it. Awesome, because that's some work I've kind of done already, because before I decided to do the live stream, I had decided, like, I'm going to plot out this book, so I did. And that has helped me a lot with the world building coincide, because you don't need to do it in the order I've decided to do it. If you're writing a book and you just want to, like, you have some people do this. You come up with a specific scene, this perfect, amazing scene, and now you got to come up with everything that came before it and what's going to happen after. You have no idea. You're like, this scene is golden, though. Once I figure out the rest of it, it's going to be fantastic. It's so good. I've got French vanilla in the Diet Coke. It's delicious. All right, gang. I want to do a special thank you to the Hive Collaborative for making this live stream possible, for putting up these amazing lights, for helping me get this amazing little set and this tracking motion camera, which is so cool and so distracting. I can see it up there. I can see my face. I'm like, it looks so cool. Thank you all for being here. If you stayed the whole time, you deserve a cookie. You should go get one. They don't count, the calories, I mean. And like and subscribe, do all the good things. Leave a comment down below what you think the name of the bad guy organization should be, if you can be cleverer than I, which is a low bar. And I will see you all again. I'll see you next week. I'll see you in the day. I'll see you in the night. What am I saying? All right. Have a great one. Go out there. Go work on your own writing. You know you want to. You know you need to.